Today we'll be making a London Broil on the Camp Chef Woodwind 24. London Broil is not the most exciting cut of meat. There's not a lot of fat. It's not very juicy, but if you cook it low and slice it fairly thin, it's not bad for the price. I got this one on sale for $3.99 a pound at a local supermarket named Food Lion. And taking a cue from some of the other videos I was watching, first I scored the meat and I added some beef tallow, and my seasonings were salt, pepper, onion, and garlic. I don't go too crazy with expensive spices. I really think that's all you need for most recipes. Please excuse all the pollen on the smoker. If you live in the Carolinas this time of year, you know it could be a struggle. First we'll start with lighting up the smoker tube, and we have the smoker starting up at 225 degrees. We've been running for about 20 minutes, and I moved the smoker tube over to the smoker. And my plan is to take this to about 135, 140 degrees to get it medium. Then I'm going to move it over to the griddle to try to get some char on the surface. Unfortunately, I made an amateur move and did not have my notes from the last time I cooked this piece of meat. It was cooking a lot faster than I hoped, so I ended up going from 225 degrees to 210 to 200 just to try to hold it there. And now that we are approaching our internal temperature of 135 to 140, let's get the griddle ready and add a layer of avocado oil. I find that this oil is pretty good, it's supposed to be healthy, and it has a high smoke point. I use that for most of my meats. Now, through the magic of sizzle-vision and smell-o-vision, let's enjoy the London Broil as it gets charred on the griddle. Now that I pulled the meat off the griddle, I let it rest for only a couple of minutes. I didn't foil it or anything. Beef tends to get cold rather quickly, so I don't like to let it sit around. It was fairly tender. I would prefer really to use a slicer for roast beef, but just the cut of this meat and the size doesn't really work well with a slicer. So get yourself a good knife and try to cut it as thin as you can. The thinness really helps with the tenderness of each bite. And here is the end result. Again, really not bad for the price. Makes a pretty nice roast beef, but I definitely do prefer the eye of round because of its shape, and I could get it on the meat slicer a lot easier. And here is the data graph from the Camp Chef mobile app. This time around it behaved. I had no problems with the pellets or holding temperature, and I think the graph is pretty helpful. You could see any temperature changes and any adjustments that I had made along the way. And here are some cooking notes. The London Broil was 1.59 pounds. My target internal temperature was between 135 and 140 degrees. That should bring you to medium rare to medium. The smoker temperature was supposed to be 225, and I realized that it was cooking too fast, so I brought it down a couple of times, as I mentioned, to 215, 200. My target would have been 225 though. And with the adjustments that I made, it cooked in about 1.25 hours. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.